So Pokimane was recently on a podcast with a couple guys named Colin and Samir, where they have over 1.56 million subscribers, and she was on the podcast and was called an unfiltered conversation with Pokimane, and it was a very unfiltered conversation with her as she gave out a lot of her opinions about certain different subjects. But the one subject that I'm mainly going to talk about, because I will touch on at the end a couple other subjects and a different situation that happened a few days ago as well in regards to Pokimane. But the one topic that I want to mostly talk about is when it came to her talking about female streamers in today's landscape, where she mentioned in the podcast that she feels as though now, compared to what it was 4 or 5 years ago, that the streaming landscape is more male dominated now than what it used to be, from her perspective as both a streamer and a consumer.
As much as I think Kai and Speed are incredible, and what they do is incredible, also when I think of them, I think of how much the audience has changed over the years as well. They're both two like young dudes who do kind of like crazy wild things, and just from a data and analytics perspective, I find it really interesting to see who are the top streamers, their similarities, their differences, especially in terms of audiences. And unfortunately, there aren't that many like huge female streamers, at least not on their level, which I think reflects like nowadays the audience has in a way gone more to being a lot of like younger dudes, which is amazing. But I remember during the pandemic, I felt a much larger female presence, both in the audience and in regards to the streamers that we were seeing growing and becoming more popular.
So that's a little clip from the podcast itself. Now, when it comes to these points, she both compares saying that there's no one on Kai and Speed's level when it comes to female streamers. And then she also mentions as well about how she feels as though that there aren't as many female streamers that are in the space now. And even as consumers, there's more male consumers now when it comes to watching Twitch streams than what it was back in the day. And when it comes to both of these things, the first one, yes, there aren't any female streamers on Kai and Speed's level, but she doesn't give any reasons why that is, and she just makes it out like it's a consumer's fault for that someone isn't as big as Kai and Speed is. And then when it comes to her talking about that she feels as though the streaming landscape from both a consumer and also streamers demographic is a lot more separate and and it's not as even as it was back in the day, is completely false. Now, when it comes to comparing female streamers to Kai and Speed, there is no one on their level at all. Not even male streamers. And it's not because women suck and people just don't want to watch female streamers. It's because honestly, and Tectone himself, he put a tweet out and he said it best himself. He said that's because no other streamer is on Kai or Speed's level. No one's grinding like them, investing like them, male or female. So success isn't even given. You have to earn it. Stop making this agenda thing. It's weird as fuck. 110%. Because the fact is that if you watch Kai and Speed streams, compared to every other streamer on any platform, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, is just on a complete different level. No one does what these guys do. There is no female streamer out there that makes content like these two do. No one. There's not even other male streamers that make content on this level. I'm sure that there's streamers out there who do something a little bit similar. You know, obviously streamers run events here and there and all that kind of stuff, but the content that they pump out on like a weekly basis, they do major events every couple weeks. I mean, the international tour that Speed has been on recently has been absolutely insane. All the gaming marathons that Kai has done recently is just on another level, where he's decked out his room in like the theme of the game that he's playing. And then he's going to be playing the Arkham game soon, and he's going to be streaming from the fucking Batcave. What other streamer is doing that? What other streamer has ever done that? And now, when it comes to her saying that the demographic on Twitch is a lot more further apart than what it was back like a few years ago, she could not be even more wrong on both a streamer's perspective and also on a consumer's perspective as well. And the fact that she didn't even consider other platforms like YouTube as well, because even though on Kick it is very heavily male dominated, always has been, and most likely always will be, YouTube, it's a little bit more different. But first of all, we'll have a look at when it comes to the female streamers and if they have deteriorated compared to a few years ago. Well, this is on the Dexterity article that covered this whole entire situation, where it says in the top 20 most followed streamers on Twitch, Pokimane is the only woman. It says in 2024, no female streamer was in the top 40 most watched channels on Twitch, with Iron Mouse with the highest at 44th overall. 3 female streamers, Iron Mouse, Mira, and Emaru, made the top 100 most watched channels in 2024. So it's like, damn, there's not many female streamers, not even the top 40. That's ridiculous. But if you look at 2020 and 2021, there was only one female streamer in the top 100 most watched for each year. In 2020, it was Pokimane, and then in 2021, it was Amaranth. So even though that, yes, it is still heavily male dominated, and yet there's not even a female in the top 40 most watched, it's more even now than it was. Yes, there's obviously, it hasn't gotten as much as it was a few years, like then it compared to a few years ago, like it's from 1 to 3, like that's not that many, but it's still showing that what she said is completely wrong. And then if you want to have a look at things from a demographics perspective, all I had to do was a quick Google search onto Google, and guess what? Their AI popped it up for me. Look at this right here. In January 2025, 60% of Twitch's users identified as male and 35% as female, where in 2017, nearly 81.5% of Twitch users were male. That's right. So it has increased from 2017, from almost 8 years ago, where only 18.5% of the users on Twitch were female, to now it being 35%. Now, obviously, that's still a lot of men on the platform compared to females, but that is still minimized the amount of spread that there was previously. And then if we go onto other platforms as well, and the one thing that she did not mention is VTubers. VTubers, female VTubers, are some of the biggest streamers, not just on Twitch with Iron Mouse being the top female streamer, but also on YouTube. This right here is the most popular female streamers throughout every platform, and their peak viewers. This female VTuber reached a peak of 249,000 viewers. That is insane. Now, you obviously might be saying to me, but Donnie, it's probably just a man behind a screen with a voice changer, and it's just like a female. It's still a female on the screen. It still is. No matter when you look at the screen and you hear the voice, it doesn't matter if behind the screen it's actually a fucking dude, which I don't think majority of the time it is. There probably is some out there where it's actually a dude, but it's just a female behind a screen. And the character on the screen is female, and the voice itself is female. And this, to me, all this proves is that, you know what? Men just don't want to watch real women anymore. They just like to watch fake women. They're sick and tired of real women, because every single time women speak about men, all they do is say stuff like Pokimane. And it felt like when Pokimane was mentioning this, it's like, there's not enough, female streamers on the platform. It's like, okay, whose problem is that then? What, is it a male problem? Is that who it is? Is it our fault? The fact that we're not watching enough female streamers? You need to encourage more women then to watch streams. Encourage more women to put in more effort into their streams. Because if you just look at the general, female streamer on Twitch, and I'm not saying this is all of them, I'm just saying if you look at the average female streamer, they just sit there with their yiddies out, and that's it. I have seen so many female streamers just sit there with no personality, and the only reason they have viewers is because they're hot. And that's it. They don't put any efforts into their stream. Their webcam is just showing their full body. They're wearing this skimpy little outfit, and they're playing some game and not talking at all during this time. Now, I feel like if instead of saying what she did in this podcast, and what she had to say was that, still talking about female streamers, advocating for them to do better. And if she had to be along the lines of, female streamers have come a long way and I want them to succeed a lot more. And it's a lot more harder for female streamers to be in that top 40. Then 100%. I would agree with you. Like, yes, I always think this is my mindset when it comes to the difference between male and female streamers, is that as a female streamer, it's a lot easier, even content creation in general. It's easier to get off your feet. That initial like rise to like a little bit of fame and a little bit of popularity is really easy as a female content creator. But then to take that next step and to become like in the top 20 of content creators, say like on Twitch, is a lot more harder as a female. Where with a man, it's like it's harder to get your feet off the ground. But once you like start to roll and once things like pick up, it's just all the way to the ceiling from there. You know what? When it's come to Pokimane, a lot of people have a disdain for Pokimane these days. And I don't necessarily hate Pokimane. I don't. I bet she's like, you know, in person, she's a great person and stuff like that. I bet she seems like an actual nice girl. She really does. She seems that, like, in general, if you're friends with Pokimane, she seems nice. But a lot of the times when she speaks out on the internet, she doesn't like speak with any factual information behind herself. She doesn't speak with any like real statements and logic. Every single time that she says something somewhat controversial, it's always with like some emotional ideology behind it. In this exact same podcast, she talked about how she thinks that XQC's deal with Kick wasn't actually $100 million and that was fake. And then he like got pissed off at Pokimane for spreading rumors like that. Then also a few days ago, she was talking about how, only white people didn't like Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl. The amount of times when she opens her mouth half the time, it's just bullshit and emotional shit that comes out of her mouth. That's it. And it's just like, dude, you gotta stop it. You really do. If you want to become unfiltered, there's nothing wrong with that. I would love to see a fully unhinged Pokimane. But if you're going to start being unfiltered and a little bit unhinged with what you say, you have to have some logic behind it. Stop speaking from, this is how I feel it was. This is how I feel this was. Because then people are just going to come up and be like, look at this. I just pulled up all these stats that proved you wrong. And you're just talking out of your fucking ass with no statements behind it. And it's just like, listen, I'm not always right. I've probably been wrong a couple times, like here and there. But goddamn, the amount of times that whenever she says something that's somewhat unhinged, it's always just bullshit. Exactly like when it came to the cookie situation and she was talking about, if you're a broke boy, just say so. It's the exact same shit. It's just all emotional bullshit. And she's got to stop it. I mean, she probably doesn't care. And you know what? If she doesn't care, that's fine, because she's made her money, she's made her wealth now, so she could just run her mouth with emotional bullshit until like at the end of her career, and she'll probably still keep making millions of dollars. So, I mean, she can do it if she wants, but honestly, if I was her, I'd just stop running my mouth every single 2 seconds. But I would definitely like to hear what you guys have to think about all this down below. That will be it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And before this video ends, I'm gonna end it on this.
Get with the times. We don't like real women anymore. What, you mean these virtual women go online and make money and I have to spend 3 hours putting makeup on? Yep. Get over it, whore. Your days are over. Your womb is drying up. My womb is eternal.
Peace out.